Formula One has constant news to talk about. The sport is ever changing and so much is happening in the world of Formula One. It's hard to cover it all, so we can only cover a small amount of it. On today's list, we will be going over why F1's latest technical wrangling is nothing new and some other Formula One news. You won't want to miss this list. But before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you don't miss any of the new videos we post. Now on to the list. First up, latest technical wrangling is nothing new. For as long as Formula One has been a competitive sport with competitive vehicles, there have been issues between other drivers and their mechanics. This latest technical wrangling that's been going on is nothing new, as it's been happening for decades now. Others are playing fast and loose with technical rules, and it sometimes leads to a great excuse to fix something that wasn't working in the first place. This wrangling will continue on and on as long as the rules are the way that they are. The sport can't really change unless its groundwork does. Next up is Alonso is back to his best. As of recently, Fernando Alonso has extended his points scoring streak to 5 races at the British Grand Prix, with Alpine Executive Director Marcin Badowski believing that F1 fans are now seeing the two-time champion come back to his very best and will be at his peak again. Fernando Alonso has always been a star in the sport of Formula One. He's always been on people's radar ever since he broke into the scene. But in the past few years, he hasn't been at his best. It's great to see that such a fan-favorite driver is coming back to the top once again. Next up is Formula One gift collection. Formula One has just recently changed their regulations for the cars the drivers race in, and just for the next era and next season, they have come out with a completely new car that fits these new regulations. To celebrate this new car, they have begun a special F1 collection with Asprey, an iconic British luxury goods house. This collection includes a replica model of the car made out of sterling silver. You can get this car in 25cm, 18, and 10cm sizes. It's going to be a great model for the hardest of Formula One fans and the people who just like to collect. Next up is session times confirmed for Italian GP. As the next Italian Grand Prix comes onto the scene, fans are eager to learn what session times for the races will be. The Italian Grand Prix is in early September and will be the second of 3 rounds to feature an experimental format this season. It's going to follow a timetable identical to that seen at the recent Silverstone race. Friday will open with practice 1 in the afternoon, followed by qualifying, which sets the grid for the sprint in the evening. Saturday morning will see a second and final practice session before the 100-kilometer F1 sprint in the afternoon to determine the starting order for Sunday's Grand Prix. Next up is McLaren is very happy right now. Daniel Ricciardo has seemed to have turned a new corner in his career. His form has been on point recently, and he took his best finish to the season with P5 in the British Grand Prix. His McLaren team said that they were very happy with his progress during the Silverstone race recently. We could be seeing him break into a new form and take over Formula One again. It's great news for him, his team, and fans of the driver. The driver has openly struggled to adapt to the new car he was given, so it's great to see him finally understand the car. Next up is Lewis Hamilton is inspired. Recently, Lewis Hamilton had denied on the Thursday of the Silverstone weekend that the upgrade package Mercedes had brought to the track would be a massive update, but after going fastest in qualifying, before claiming his 8th British Grand Prix victory, Hamilton admitted that he'd been inspired by the turnaround in performance Mercedes changes had wrought on the W12. The driver was very impressed with the Mercedes team's handiwork and was very content with the recent improvements. This top driver is just going to get even better with that beast of a car. Next up is Leclerc is raring to go. Charles Leclerc was thrilled by the new F1 sprint format during the British Grand Prix weekend and said he can't wait to try it out again when it's run at 2 further trial events this season. Leclerc took a stunning podium after leading 49 laps in the British Grand Prix itself. While he was disappointed to lose out on victory, the driver of the day was elated to have taken part in the brand new F1 format that saw drivers battle in a dramatic Saturday sprint, with qualifying moved to Friday evening. He is rearing to go now that these new changes are making life easier for these drivers. Hopefully we'll see them all do way better now. Next up is Lewis Hamilton is starting to see the benefits of simulator work. Earlier this year, it was revealed that top driver Lewis Hamilton was very reluctant to begin training for races by using a simulator. But the 7-time champion has recently changed his ideas, as he is said to be beginning to see the amazing benefits of using the simulator and is using it to get a grip on another title. In an interview with former F1 driver driver Martin Brundle earlier this season, Hamilton revealed, "I hardly ever drive on the simulator. I maybe do 20 laps a year maybe. I have no interest in the simulator." Next up is, Bottas has a great future. Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes boss Toto Wolff have heaped praise on Valtteri Bottas, with both saying that the Silver Arrows would not have won the British Grand Prix without the Finn's selfless actions during the race at Silverstone. Lewis Hamilton had praised his teammates' actions and was very happy that Bottas played it the way he did. They all agree that he has an even better future than others had thought of. And finally, long list of potential drivers on the horizon. Mercedes-backed Williams driver George Russell has long been tipped for a potential switch to the Silver Arrows. But if he does leave, Williams team principal and CEO Jos Capito said his team are almost spoiled for choice in terms of potential replacements. Russell's future depends on whether Mercedes decides to keep Valtteri Bottas past 2021, with the Finn's contract set to run out at the end of the season. The Briton has impressed throughout his tenure with Williams, narrowly missing out on points for the team with P12 finishes in France and Great Britain, and a P11 finish in Australia to boot. Formula One is constantly in the news. There's lots going on all the time. We have no idea what's going to happen, if it's going to be good news, if it's going to be bad news. Just recently, we had a collision with Lewis Hamilton that was to be an estimated $1.8 million in damages. The two title protagonists made contact at 180 miles per hour at Silverstone's Copse Corner, which sent Verstappen hurtling into the barriers with an impact of 51 G and caused significant damage to his RB16B. With a budget cap in place for this year for the first time, currently set at $145 million annually, Horner says this damage bill will have massive ramifications. The top teams, including Red Bull, have faced a challenge to come down on the cap, having previously spent much more, and therefore such a big financial hit for damage could have an impact on their development plan for the remainder of the season. After checks at a local hospital, Verstappen returned to his home at Monaco to rest. Horner said that when he spoke to him on Monday morning, the championship leader said he felt like he'd done a few rounds with Tyson Fury. He added that he is confident Verstappen will put the incident behind him and focus on getting his championship fight back on track after his lead was slashed to 8 points, starting with the upcoming race in Hungary. Despite being battered and bruised, he will be more motivated on track, and the positives we can take from the weekend are that last year we qualified a second off Mercedes, said Horner. It's insane that such a crash could have such significant ramifications. Thank God neither of them were seriously injured or killed. To end off this list, it's good to talk about how F1 is going. We are seeing so many more drivers come into the spotlight after years of one or two drivers taking the spotlight from everyone else. We could be getting some of the recent greats back into their prime and some of the new faces onto the screens. Hopefully, these next matches will go well and we get some great entertainment. These could make or break this new rule set and regulation for many. If things don't go well, we could be seeing even more change. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe with notifications on. Don't forget to let us know what you thought about the video down in the comments. Bye.